Yeah, that's pretty much it for the introductions. So I thought the first topic here would probably be we're going to go through on each week. We're going to have some different topics, but probably we're going to talk about Premier League games that happened that week and the minor league games. Although there was significantly less games that are going to go on as the weeks go on when we are say in the off season or something. But we can still find stuff to talk about. But first segment, kind of we're going to go through is Premier League games that happened last week in the semifinals. Specifically, the White Lightning matches against Spooky Midnight. And as everyone wants to know, really, what I think you know where I'm going here. What happened in that second game is
Well, you know, a lot of things happened in that second game. I actually think up until about the 20-minute mark, that was probably our. Okay, the third game was like a complete stop, obviously, but I think we played that game super clean, super well for the first 20 minutes. Um, but then I think the comms maybe got a bit cluttered. I think we started, maybe mailing it in a bit too much, and then didn't really play to what our comp was supposed to do. And we're just like way too patient with ending the game. And it turns out that I can't remember what they had picked, but we just lost a
like
couple. We just lost a couple of team fights we totally shouldn't have. I think I might have gotten like I know I went over to like 1v1 Afro in a mid lane team fight like a dumbass and like cost our team the team fight on the other side of the map because I'm like we just
solo
have this
queue.
in the bag, right? Yeah, yeah. We full solo queue, and we threw a 10k gold lead. So I mean it
Yeah,
happens. It happens.
everyone knows that. That's the funnest thing in League when you throw a 10k gold lead or
Oh, it
also
feels
lose
so good, man.
4v5s, lose or losing 5v4s. That actually has happened to me a couple times, and I wanted to end my life after that.
Damn.
But yeah, the game two was probably the most interesting game just because of how sloppy it was. But
No,
game
yeah.
one, the
Oh, snap. Everyone saw that.
yeah,
So,
yeah brothers. I mean, come on. But anyway, game one, I'm gonna kind of I guess question you guys lane swapped and you had a Lucian and Nautilus was it in the bot lane? Um, I feel like Arf is a good AD carry, but you and Simkev are definitely a much stronger 2v2 lane, and especially when you have the Lucian, why would
Yeah,
you
do
want
you remember?
to lane
Yeah,
swap?
yeah,
I
yeah.
just don't know why.
Yeah, I would. I now that you say it, I have no idea why we did it. What was their? Do you know what their top lane matchup was? It was probably they had the Jax, and I think
Yeah, yeah, it was Jax. It
there's
was
I
Jack's
think
Excel
in
Malphite.
on
talking,
Jax.
yeah, 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 and talking with our like analyst and coach, they're like, you do have a good 2v2, but you might want to do the lane swap push and try and set the Jax behind. Because we were under the impression Squeaky Midnight weren't going to be very good with lane swapping. We've lane swapped them on them previously. We even scrimmed them like what was it before the quarterfinal matchup, and I think we might have lane swapped and it worked really well. I can't remember what our reasoning was. We just didn't think they were going to be very good at adapting to a lane swap, and we wanted to set the Jacks behind. So I
Uh,
think that was the reasoning behind that. So
okay, let's actually back it up a little bit. What do you guys do for your pick ban phase? That do you think that you guys won straight up in pick ban? Because I felt like that first game was actually theirs to throw, and that they could have won, but they didn't because they didn't play their comp right. Because I know that Jax at one point could 1v2, and he could have just stayed bot lane and split push while they tried to hold the objectives up top or something like that, and they could have just taken towers.
it's gonna help me if I pull up the match histories here. But
Yeah.
Yeah, they
yeah,
had
I feel
Jax
like
and Lulu. I think that was like their main combo. Lulu mid on
I
Afro,
think
and he
Lulu.
was complaining to
Yeah,
me about that. He's like, "God, the team put me on Lulu." I'm like, "Lulu and Jax is like a free win." I mean,
So like,
yeah, but
wait, let's.
we also got the core of like Mundo Malphite, which my team regards as like really dumb. If you can get those two champions right
Oh
now,
yeah, like I'll agree
it's
they're
not,
good,
I
but
mean, I honestly, looking at it, I'd say it was a pretty 50-50 draft. Um, and I think their draft was one of the biggest reasons they lost. I'm gonna just put that straight up. I think their drafting was terrible all series long, and we should have won game one way more convincingly. We obviously should have won game two. It should have just been a clean 2-0 if were playing like we can. I thought their drafting was just terrible. It was really predictable. I think their champion pools were like holding them back quite a bit.
okay.
yeah, I do agree with the champion pool. I mean, I'm gonna pick on some of the spooky midnight players here a bit, but like when Afro comes to mind, I know he doesn't play Riven much anymore, but what does come to mind? Like, what champs does he play? I know you guys banned the Kassadin out, which Kassadin's
He also
pretty.
banned his Yasuo. I mean, to be fair to him,
Yasuo, yes, Yasuo.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the
Riven
one.
isn't
But
just
like,
this season, and we banned the Yasuo and the Kassadin, so it was rough for him.
yeah.
gotta
And
give
then
it-
what?
he-
And
he
then what's he
took a
gonna play on? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he did good on Ari in that second game, but then when he was on the support role, like Lulu,
No,
was just
he got
next
he got shafted until a certain point of the game because Kennen was up so many kills at one
Yeah.
point in that game. Like that was like he came back and he picked, and that's what Ari does. Is he did some good picks there, but I wouldn't say that he won. I think that they got lucky because you guys threw actually, but that's
Yeah,
my
I
perspective.
mean, I can't speak for what happened mid lane in terms of like 1v1 between the two, but I know that there was a lot of like skirmishing, like 2v2, 3v3
Yeah.
kind of stuff going on mid lane. So I don't really know how much of that was like him totally in a 1v1 scenario and how much of that was just, came down to more team play
So
rather than his own fault.
You
So,
mentioned that coach and an analysis that you have, or do you have just are they same person, same thing?
we have a coach. He's actually Australian. He lives in I think Sydney, Australia. So sometimes the times don't line up, but he's a really cool dude. He's been a great help. He doesn't really know like a lot about the game per se. He's like one of us basically, and he's just more. He keeps our practices kind of going. He brings up some information once in a while, like, oh, you maybe could have done this. And we actually have Kuro Sekai is actually helping after his team lost, unfortunately, in the first round. He's been helping us with analysis kind of stuff. We did have other analysts before, but they all kind of just disappeared recently for whatever reason. So yeah, we've had Kuro come on, and he's been a great help. He's been pretty awesome. So
Well, what I wanted to kind of ask about is it going back to that second game, but yeah, what goes through your mind? Because after a solo queue game, when I throw a 70k gold lead and then I want to quit League forever, I just don't queue up. But you guys had to play that third game. Like, what do you discuss, or what happens? Like, are you just like, well, guys, we kind of flushed that one down the toilet, or what?
oh god, yeah, no. I mean, right after the game, it's always brutal. At least with my team, it's just like, oh my god, like how did we throw that game? And like our coach tells us we're up 10k. It's like there's no reason to lose games like that. It's just randomly getting caught, losing team fights we shouldn't. But I think we just like realized after like a minute or two of like just kind of chilling out. It's like, dude, we were up 10k that game. Like we won the first game like decently convincingly, and then that game we were steamrolling a early game, and we were just winning early game all series and all week in practice. So we just knew that if we just fix a little bit of problems with our the way we picked that game and went into game 3. Since we really favored blue side, at least that series, we favored picking on blue side quite a bit, and we knew we'd be back on blue side game 3. So we were pretty confident after just talking it out a bit. It wasn't too bad.
All right, so no, go on.
No, go ahead. You go first.
All right, awkward. But so in that game 3, like, were you just like, all right, we're done with Spooky Midnight. Let's just actually try this game, and just like, oh man, that was disgusting to watch, honestly. Like, were you halfway through? You're like, or even before you were halfway through at like 20 minutes, you're like, all right, we got this. Moving on to finals. This game's over. But was there something in like the back of your mind, like, all right, no one go do anything stupid, or you're off the team. We're not throwing this game again, too.
I almost want to say it was like kind of the opposite mentality. Like when we got in a game, we just liked all our matchups across the board. I think that game we actually got not Lucian. We had a Maokai into like a Hecarim. And then middle lane, we had, I think, Ari versus Victor. And it was just, every lane allowed us to play super aggressive. And it was just basically like, we can win this off a laning phase alone, just, really outlane them. And so it was more of just like really, really play super aggressive early and try and get an early lead. It wasn't anything like, don't screw up or anything. I know we were telling Senpai to like play more aggressive top and, try to get a solo kill or something, and he did. You'd rarely see Senpai solo killing people, so that was like awesome. As soon as Senpai solo killed top, I had a feeling that game was in the bag because he never does that. He's more of just go even, play for the team kind of guy. But yeah, that was awesome. So,
Okay, so you mentioned your team a little bit. Actually, do you actually want to run through your team and tell me like, okay, well, why are these people on the team? What are their strong suits, and why you wanted them and how they?
Yeah, no, I mean, our team goes me, Simkept, I'll just refer to them by their gamer tags.
That's fine.
personally, but that'll be easier for everybody. SimCap2 and I have been playing together since we were in high school. We actually went to high school together. We go to the same college now. So we've known each other for like ever. We've been playing since we've been dueling since we're in silver. God damn it, he's like spamming me on League. I gotta log off. Way too distracting. So yeah, we've known each other for like ever. And then I don't know if you guys remember T-Lol. I don't know if you guys were involved with Terracotta Lol. Maybe a little bit. I don't know.
I'm actually fairly new, so.
I came back in like season 2, so yeah, no, I know nothing about Terracotta Law. I didn't know.
Okay, yeah, that was the old shitty version of this league, basically. And it was I wasn't allowed to play in that because I was diamond at the time. And there wasn't a diamond league. There was only like a plat league, a gold league, and all that kind of stuff. So good. Senpai and Kevin. Well, Kevin was good friends with me, so I tried to get on a team with him, but I was diamond and he was like plat at the time, so we couldn't be on a team together. And so I had to like coach the team he was on. But yeah, we've gone through a few iterations since then. I'm still in touch with all the people from that roster. Hobbs was a big part of that roster. I don't know if you guys are way new, but if you remember Hobbs, he was.
I remember.
For a lot of this season and last season. And yeah, that's where Senpai and Kevin come from. And that I don't know how long ago that was. I want to say like a year and a half, 2 years ago. So we've been playing in like PGL tournaments and stuff with us three for a really long time. And then the jungler, Chickstig LP, is actually my brother. We had Learn and Climb was our starting jungler last season, but he had some like personal health issues or something, and I haven't seen him on League in like 2 months. So he kind of had to disappear for his own reasons. And then my brother, he's like a mid lane main. He hardly ever played jungle, but we needed somebody, so he stepped in for playoffs, and we swept playoffs last season, so we just ended up keeping him around. So. And then Corrupt Hope actually goes to school here in Ames at Iowa State with me and.
Whoa! Did you say Iowa State?
Yeah, dude.
I'm going there in the fall.
Are you actually?
Yeah, I didn't know anyone here was from Iowa. Oh no, my god! Are you kidding me?
Here's a fun fact for you: 5 people in the finals are from Iowa State. My entire college team. It's.
Oh my god! Are you kidding
that's really wild. Me, SimCap2, Corrupt Hope, and then Zark and Captain Stevie are all Iowa State. We played in the NACC together. So.
Crap. Okay, well, I better get out of Diamond 5 so I can take your spot up there.
Yeah, man.
So
yeah.
what are you there for? What are you majoring in?
I was originally here for software engineering, and I did that.
Hey. I'm computer software. I haven't decided yet.
Okay, that's fair. My roommate is in that, but and I did that for like a year and a half. Had an internship, and it was awful. I absolutely hated it. So now I'm doing it's called communication studies. I have a general business minor, and I'm going for my it's called a leadership certificate as well. So yeah, good times.
You people in your engineering stuff.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my god, ISU. Okay, that is just ridiculous. Holy crap. Okay. So, like, were you in Iowa, or were you in Iowa your whole life, or what?
No, I've been. Pretty much my whole life. Since the year literally 2000. I've been in Iowa.
What town were you from?
Cedar Rapids.
Hey, all right. We go up there every around there. Naz, you're not coming here, bud. All right. So back to interesting topics that the whole chat doesn't want to not hear about is so a minor league. Although there's not that much to talk about since I'd say about a good 70% of the games were wash-ups and forfeits and stuff that happens with teenagers, I guess. But. What do you think of? I guess really you can only talk about 2 teams, Neverclucky and Soul 7. Like, what do you think of them? Have you or I know you can't really you don't want to talk about scrims about
I'm totally down to talk about scrims out of the season.
Let's talk about scrims.
I mean,
what do you think of?
I could give a shit, but no, we didn't actually get to scrim either of them. We were trying to scrim Neverclucky for like ever, but they don't really have a great schedule that lines up with ours. But yeah, I think Hayam Narib, I don't actually know how to say his name. Their team captain. He's a really cool dude. We've tried to set up scrims a lot, but it just didn't work out, unfortunately. And then Soul 7, I actually randomly duoed with their support. I think his name's Philly. Yeah, I randomly duoed with his.
Late benefits in.
Well, I matched up with him in a
nice.
solo queue game one time on my Smurf, so that was kind of cool because he had no idea who I was because it was my Smurf, and I'm like calling him like Soul 7, even though his tag is only S7, so he's really confused. But Yeah, so that was cool, but we didn't get to scrim either of those teams, unfortunately.
So, out of the premier teams, are you even worried about the finals at all? Jumping back a little bit, or no?
No, yeah,
Because I know recently that one team was knocked out as
yeah.
because of
Look,
some issues, which we will definitely be talking about today in a very professional way. But so looking into the finals, are you worried at all? Are you thinking that you pretty much have it? Who was the team that you were really worried the most about?
Well, to be honest, the team I was worried the most about was SAW Space Age Wizards because they were like our main scrim partners throughout the season. So like when we'd go back and forth, our scrims are like really 50-50 with them, and we obviously know a ton about each other. And I'm really really good friends with Kuro, so I was really hoping to be able to play them in the finals, but they got knocked out first round, unfortunately. I think they would normally beat Dream Killers. I think they just had a really bad day. I'm still of the opinion that they're probably the second, third best team in the tournament. But yeah, in terms of looking out for teams, I honestly told my team going into the Spooky Midnight game, I kind of felt like that was almost a championship game for us. In terms of, I thought they were the definitive second best team remaining out of the teams left. Lucker Dogs, man, they're such a wild card. I don't know how much you followed throughout the season, but like they forfeit randomly.
Yeah,
And then they show up randomly, and they have really good players. Like their AD carry is a really good player. Their jungler's solid. They're pretty good across the board. So when they show up and they're all there, and if they practice for the week, they're a really really scary team. Which I guess is what happened for them in playoffs. They kind of got their stuff together, so they might have been. They're definitely probably scarier than Dream Killers. I'd say Dream Killers of the four teams in the semifinals, I'd probably rate them the lowest. So I'm definitely feeling pretty confident. The only problem is school is a thing. So my whole team has finals all week, so we haven't been able to practice like at all.
Well,
Like we only have one practice and maybe get 2 or 3 games in this week, which is just going to be really unfortunate. And I haven't seen my guys on much at all, so I don't know how it's going to go. Usually we get like 3 practices in a week and a lot of solo queue, but this week I've seen hardly any solo queue and we only get 1 practice, so it's definitely going to be really close by.
so what you're saying is if you lose, it's because you didn't practice this week, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if we want to have excuses lined up, that would probably be the first thing I would turn to, because I honestly think we're the better team, and if you talk to Strath, he'd probably say so as well.
The memes can be made now, guys, so that way when they lose, you guys could put
too busy studying. Yeah, that's a problem though. With I'm a senior in high school, so like I have finals coming up too, but it's nothing I need to devote. I still have time to play like 2 or 3 league games a night, so it's nothing like that. But yeah, I know the struggle will be coming soon. So like about the minor league teams, I know you have been scrimming some of the new ones, the new like minor league teams coming in. What do you think of maybe a specific team involving, I'd say the worst AD carry in our house party, Nazarin? I think they are going to be pretty good. What do you think about them?
Yeah, and obviously you and Naz must be like decent friends or something, because I had no idea who he was.
No, they're just awful people, right?
Wow.
I had no idea who he was until he like messaged me on League, added me on League the other day, or he might have poked me asking for scrims. But yeah, we've scrimmed his team a few times, and he seems like a super cool dude. He's super solid player for sure, and their team is really good. I'd say. I mean, obviously, I don't really want to like go into too much detail, but the scrims have been really close. I'd say he can agree or disagree, but I think it's been pretty 50-50 in terms of how they've felt. I don't know about in terms of actual outcomes of games if it's like 50% win rate, but they felt really close. They're definitely a solid team.
So do you scrim only teams that are in minor league and premier league, or do you look towards the Swiss League too for teams to potentially scrim?
Or like other teams, like other NACC teams or stuff like that, or just people you find randomly?
Basically to like teams that are involved in some way, shape, or form with House Party. The only rule we hold to ourselves is if we don't trust maybe one of the players on their team, in terms of leaking information. There's a couple teams we just have like blacklisted that we're not going to scrim because it's like they're gonna, the information's gonna get out. We might as well play fives, But yeah, minor league, upcoming Swiss tournament, other Premier League teams. As long as we don't play them that week, we'll scrim whoever. As long as we think they're a decent team. So
if you're all silver, you're probably not getting scrims with Christina. But
We'll do that.
Or if you're bags, you're probably not getting scrims with Christian. Although that's not a problem anymore. Anyway, so what
Oh.
another thing I wanted to talk about was what, like, obviously right now, since you guys are in finals, you're not doing much, but what was your, like, why do you think you're the best team? What do you do for practice? Like, I mean, you don't need to lay out like, all right, first we get in this custom game and last hit for 10 minutes, but no, like,
No,
what do you do? Like, I mean, how long do you play? What days a week, or
I mean,
what mindset do you go in?
Yeah, I think we're like really middle of the pack in terms of how much we practice. I want to say. I try to get my guys to play as much solo queue as possible. That used to be a really big problem in the past. Usually, mid-season, I'd say what our practice regimen is. We'd play twice a week on like say like Tuesday, Thursday night for like 3 games, and that was really it. And some of our players, like 2 or 3 of our players, cough cough, Kevin, would only play literally in the practice games. So towards the middle of the season, we were kind of a so-so team. But I think now at the end, once we got to playoffs, everybody started playing like a lot more on their own. So our practices were more productive because it was more like in the middle of the season, it was like working out individual kinks as well as team kinks at practice, and that was awful. That was really bad, and that's when we had a couple really bad weeks. But yeah, basically our practice schedule, we just try and get 2 practices of like, like 3-ish games a week, and usually we can practice a couple comps and be good to go for the weekend because school is pretty real for a lot of us, so we don't have that much time to devote to that much practice. So.
Okay, guys, sorry about that. We are back and we're online. Holy, my internet just crashed. GG.
Oh my god! See, this is why you're not on White Lightning.
Right.
Exactly what we were talking about. You
Right.
can't, Christian can't trust anyone to not
trust
do
anyone.
this.
We're going pretty good. I probably got like DDoSed or some shit.
Yeah, I'm sure you got
It's
DDoS.
totally what happened. Holy
So,
shit.
anyways, where were we?
Christine was talking about how no one's gonna infiltrate his
Yeah, which I
secure
mean,
team.
that's really neat.
I
That's
respect.
yeah,
I
that's-
respect that because that's one thing
yeah.
I completely hated about the minor league, or even some of the Premier League teams in general. It's just like every week it's a completely new roster, and I was doing the minor league predictions and power rankings thread, and every time I had to go through and look up all the new players, I'm like, I have no idea who this guy is. Never seen him play a game. Just some diamond player he picked up in solo queue, and that's why I'd say all the teams were unsuccessful. When you look at the minor league, they had Soul 7 and Never Clucky, the best 2 teams, and gee, look what teams didn't have a roster change all season. Those 2. Oh, all right, Soul 7 did add a jungler, but that's about it. And I mean, it speaks for itself. If you want to be good, don't drop your players every single week.
Yeah, I think I can totally agree with that in saying that you need to have some team cohesion and that teams that actually play together for a while are going to have a better synergy with each other and going to be able to work after each other, roam and stuff like that, and call for rotations and stuff like that. So I think that that's totally good. Now, how do you think players should get better or work towards rising up in the Swiss League into the minor league and get into the premiers to beat you?
Yeah, give him advice on. Come on, we want to be.
No,
better.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to say really. I mean, I've never been through the Swiss League myself. Obviously, when I started, I was fortunate enough to like be granted captainship. It was basically when the league was like kind of resetting. They just went with 10 new captains basically and said we're starting kind of from scratch because they used to do a draft system. They used to actually have like a draft where the players were drafted, but then they allowed that season for like pre-made teams to come in. So yeah, I don't really have much experience coming through the whole minor league system, and obviously I think the minor league system is great, mainly for the reason because of what you guys like all saw and where everybody just started not showing and teams started disbanding, and I didn't follow the minor league too closely or really that closely at all, besides the couple teams we scrimmed, but it seemed like obviously there was a ton of no-shows, and that's something that besides Lucker Dogs, the Premier League really didn't have. They have teams that are, way more committed and like showing up, even if their skill level isn't as high. And that's kind of what the minor league is there for. It's to make sure the teams are committed, So basically the biggest thing, if you have like, obviously having the talent and having like a good team is important, but making sure the players are committed and gonna, be there every weekend is like half the battle, clearly. So
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Okay, so I think that we should talk a little bit about up and coming players that you think are going to be really good that maybe you've seen in House Party, stuff like that. I know Alex and Theo, besides Shifty, just ignore Swifty, but I know that a lot of people who I've talked to have mentioned Alex and Theo because he's a master level player, support player. He's getting on I believe he's on one of the minor teams, right? Or
Yeah,
Swiss
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
teams.
on.
he's on
He's
the
with
team. He's on the
Naz.
new team we've been
Yeah,
scrimming.
yeah.
We've been Kama Flare mentioning in chat he's open too, although he's an admin, but yeah, we've been scrimming their team too, my team, and Alex is a fantastic player, and Alex and Naz bot, it's gonna be a very hard lane for any bot lane, although I'd say it's definitely about 80% Alex and 10% Naz, and 10% Naz's 10% Naz's ego carry that bot lane, but. Alex is definitely a strong player, and he's already on a team, so it's not like anyone's gonna be like, oh, hey, this guy's free, let's pick him up. But yeah, that team, especially Alex, is a good player. But yeah, Christian,
I don't know
if
who
you
they're.
know any players,
No, yeah, I don't really know because I'm more worried about my own team, and it's just basically who are we playing this week. The only thing I really have
yeah,
to be worried about, because I don't play much in houses myself. I play like only 2 in houses this season. So, but yeah, their bot lane was super fun to play against. I don't really remember how it went. I remember yeah, I don't really want to give away any picks. I almost said like something what we played. I don't know how confidential people want to keep it. So, but it was definitely fun laning against it. It was pretty back and forth. So, yeah, those guys, that team is definitely going to be if they can stay together and if they all mesh pretty well, they're going to be probably favorites for
they're no doubt in my mind they're favorites for minor league, and I would put them right as they are right now, even though they're like a new team with less of the like I guess communication and stuff like that teams like you guys have a lot of up in the Premier League. I feel like they would easily be top 3 at least. I would put you guys as the best team, and I would say you're the favorites to win the tournament. And then I'm not really sure. I feel like Lucker Dogs are really good, but you never can say they're good, and then they have like 6 losses. Oh wait, all 6 of those are them forfeiting because people are sleeping or whatever. So it's hard to place the rest of Premier League, but I would put them in the top 3 or 4 teams right now. Just they're really good, and I don't I don't see them having a challenge in the minor league, honestly.
No, it depends what like if another new minor league team comes out of nowhere that's really solid. But I don't really know the new teams that are going to be coming into minor league all that well. Besides, like the couple teams. So yeah, for sure. If they're like a committed team and they show up every week and they get the practice in and they stay together for the next few months, they're definitely going to be on their way to being top of the Premier League in no time. That's for sure.
Okay, you mentioned something about the teams, and I know you mentioned about Lucker Dog Swifty. I think it's now time that we can talk about, hey, what's been happening to some of these teams, right? Because we have Lucker Dogs, which is gone now, but then there was some other issues that happened where another team actually disbanded, right? If I remember this correctly.
Yeah, it was. Are you talking about Euphorium?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I guess it was like got the color comma. Thanks for pointing that out. But yeah. Where Euphorium, they had their 80 carry. His account that he was playing on in House Party was Gold 5, and everyone knew that this guy's not a Gold 5 80 carry. They're all like, this guy's actually really good. And he had another account, Diamond 4 or 5, and it was permaban for whatever reason. I don't know. Not really my business, but it was permaban. So he just played on his Gold 5 account and just didn't play much solo queue. So I feel like the people were upset because Euphorium, or at least in my eyes, I never knew that he was actually like people speculated and stuff, but the only reason I found out all that was from the Reddit post that the admins made. So they were disqualified from the tournament. So Soul 7, or I think it was Soul 7, got a free win. So I actually was it was. I was looking forward to that game. But Soul 7 did get a free win, and then they went and took that into minor leagues finals, never clucking, got 3-0'd. So you put up a better fight, but who knows? But who knows? I mean.
So these are, I think these are important because they're actually 2 different scenarios that we need to talk about. Because then we have the same thing, what happened with Lucker Dogs.
A bit different, yeah.
Yeah, so explain that one real fast.
Well, I actually don't really fully understand the situation or
I don't
or,
either.
like,
To this
why. I'm gonna bring it
point.
up on Reddit again, but hopefully I don't get Star Wars spoiled for me. That's happened almost twice today on Reddit. All right, we cover my eyes here, but yeah. All right. So what I think happened, or what I'm getting from this post, the first post that Anson made was the Lucker Dogs were disqualified from the tournament because account sharing. Their top laner Wemenass was not using his primary account to play, so they're banned for the tournament, and TDRK got a free win. And I was actually really looking forward to seeing Lucker Dogs versus White Lightning in the finals, but unfortunately, people apparently can't play on their main account. So what happened? Everyone was saying, what's going on here? Dude, this is kind of a big deal, so you should tell us some more information." Which I feel like I agree with, but I also disagree with at the same time. Like when you have a ban of this caliber, like a team just getting disqualified, you should have more than two sentences saying, "All right, us admins
They broke
found
this rule. Yeah.
yeah, so
Okay.
they're disqualified." So then they did post this actually pretty big thing about a couple things. One, kind of unimportant or not related. Captain Flowers joining the admin team. Great caster. He's glad to be on our team now. But down here they're talking about how players need to use their main. I'm trying to talk and read here. It's kind of hard, but players should use their main accounts, or they need to be using their main accounts when they're playing this. And I mean, this post is a whole lot of interesting things, but not really anything clarifying the situation. What I'm getting out of this is that Lemonass wasn't playing on his main account, and
Which
people,
blows my mind if you look at the accounts linked.
I'm not sure. I'm not really sure.
Because if you go back
Yeah.
to the original post, the one that was higher rated, it says using his primary account has what is that, like 250 rank games, and then the account he's been playing on has, what is this, like 600? No, more like 550. So I don't get why. I mean, it's lower rated, sure, but he
Yeah,
has,
how do you
like,
decide what's your main
300
account?
more game? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing that I'm the most
If you
confused
have
about in all of this. Like, what is a main account even? Why is he banned for playing on an account that has like 300 more games played on it and ranked, even if it's lower rated? I don't know. My Smurf's been higher than my main before. I don't know why that's such a crime. So
Yeah, well, I guess you're bad. Sorry. White Lightning disqualified. You heard it here first. TDRK goes on to win season 4 of the House Party Finals.
So I think it's important
Yeah.
to actually talk about these because they're very separate issues that are both very dramatic. And you have one where it's okay, he was on a Smurf, he wasn't banned, so there was really no reason, like the understanding behind like the decision. And I'm cool with whatever the mods want to do, stuff like that. This isn't a hate rant. Don't go hating on the mods. We like the
no,
mods; they
yeah,
do their job.
I
So
hate when
don't,
people just hate on the mods. 'Cause,
yeah,
like
don't do that.
they do a lot of stuff. Like it's tough on them. They're totally volunteers and they bring that up a lot, but it can get a bit disgusting how much hate you get through some. Like,
So-
they're doing a good
agree.
thing here.
Chat, anyone
give-
spamming lynch the mods or something, time down. So don't do that. But yeah, that is a good point. They make the best decisions they can, but people disagree, and I think that's like we're just discussing right now. So go on.
Yeah. So anyway, so we have one where it's okay. Well, he's playing on the Salt account just because he doesn't want to show some of the stuff he's playing. It's pretty common for professional players to have accounts that are hidden so that way people don't see what they're playing because they still want to do solo queue. They still want to practice things. I mean, it's pretty common. Both of his were, I don't know if they were known or not, but still, even having one that isn't known, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Whereas if you look at the other case where the guy is actually banned on his account, okay, that's actually something serious where he probably shouldn't be playing because he actually got banned. So I think that for me, that's how,
Yeah.
like, you try to separate, and I don't understand why one whole team gets disqualified because this player is playing on an alt account versus, like, how is that equal to someone who actually got banned from the game? Like, I don't see how these two things are equal.
Well, I feel like the mods had to kind of make one decision because they already set the precedent with Euphorium that, all right, this guy was on a Smurf, and even though he was banned, it was a different situation. They didn't ban him for that. They banned him because he was playing on a Smurf without making it known that it wasn't a Smurf or something like that. So the pretty much exact same situation involving the two accounts happened. So the mods. And in fact, I was gonna bring it up and say, I mean, there are mods and they're human, but I was gonna bring it up and say, you can't have two different things just because this is a Premier League team. The rules have to be the same, or you got to make sure that people know this. But they went and they had the same decision for the Lucker Dogs, which I respect for that. But I don't know if I respect the individual ruling. And right here, reading some of the comments on the post, Anson saying how the rules will be cleaned up next season, especially involving the Smurf rules about clearly defining alternate accounts and keeping the requirement that you can only use one account for all of House Party. But I mean, who knows? The rules still getting written and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I mean,
and that,
yeah, it's just
and that personally, to me, if I can go on my little rant about it,
No, go
the
ahead.
two biggest things for me were that's pretty frustrating for the teams is that I don't think the rule is written anywhere. I think the only thing that was linked was a post made 9 months ago, I think, by Anson saying, and there was some alternate account rule. I don't even want to try and find it because Reddit's horrible for finding stuff like that. But 9 months ago, there's a post on the House Party 5 and 5 Reddit about really, kind of like iffy wording about that stuff. So, and then the other thing that I lost my thought here. That wasn't it. Oh yeah, the wording is the other issue. First of all, the rule's not in the rule book. It's just straight up. We have a rule book, and it's not there as far to my knowledge when I looked. And I was talking with the captain of Euphorium Gaming, and it's not in there when he said he looked either. But the also rule, which isn't as questionable in the Euphorium Gaming rule, and this other ruling with the Lucker Dogs is like, what is a main account, and why? Like, I need to reread the decision. It said all players must compete on their main account. Alternate Smurf accounts cannot be used. So basically, you're telling me that they sat down, had a meeting, and said that Weminos, the account named Weminos, was not his main account, despite having, like I said, 200 more rankings on it or whatever. I just want to know how that decision comes forth that that's not his main account. I just want to see the decision making behind that, because to me, the guy's been playing on that account since almost since last season. I don't know. He's been around for as long as I can remember being in House Party. He's been around for a while and always using that account. So why is that all of a sudden ruled as not his account now? I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, and I feel like we're just kind of repeating the same things, but it needs to be addressed. Is that everyone knows him as Wemenas. I don't know what his other account was called, but no one's gonna. Everyone knows him as the top laner that's down 30 CS every time he plays, but no one, and it's Wemenas. Like he didn't give himself an unfair advantage or anything like that. Even if he did break a rule, the rule just needed to be more defined, and I feel like that's basically how it has. That's all there is to the argument. What's the rules on accounts, and why can some accounts be classified as Smurf, and what dictates what a Smurf account is?
Yeah, and I linked you guys what his other account technically was, if you're interested in looking at it. I mean, it just looks like a normal Smurf account to me. So I don't know. I just like to know a little bit more for that ruling.
So let's say that they say that you can't use Smurfs anymore. You're not allowed to at all.
Like period.
Yeah,
you can't, If you're caught Smurfing, you're done for.
Like, what I want to know is how are they gonna implement this? Because it's really easy to be like, okay, well, if we want to do ranked 5s in practice, we're all gonna get on Smurfs. We're gonna make up a team. We're not gonna let anyone know, because if we do, we're gonna get in trouble. But there's gonna be no way for people telling. Like, I don't understand the whole Smurfing idea at all, because really, if someone wants to do it, they're gonna do it. And this is talking to someone who works with deviant individuals in a jail setting. So there is something that I know. I do work with people in a jail, so just saying that if they want to do something like this, it's gonna be fairly simple, and there's not gonna be really any way to enforce it. So.
Yeah, I feel like I don't think they're going to go that route. They're not going to ban Smurfs in general. I think what they're trying to do is ban people from the account that they use to play in House Party. They're trying to prevent them from using the account that isn't their main, for House Party games. So, like, the account listed isn't what they actually play on the most. So it would obviously give you an advantage if you only jump onto that account for House Party games. But yeah, and it's just going to go all the way back to the wording. Like, how are they going to word it in the rule book that it's going to be able to be consistent? Because there's no way that they're going to be able to ban Smurfs in general. And I really don't think they should. It's a good practice tool.
Yep.
To like if I want to go practice something on in solo queue and maybe bring it out in scrims and hide a pick for the week, I have that option of just going on my Smurf and doing that. So getting rid of that would be really silly, and I don't think they will. I think they just need to get rid of like what I said, making sure people aren't playing on account they don't play on otherwise for House Party, and they just have to put it in the rule book somewhere and clear up the wording. It's just honestly all they're gonna have to do, and it'll probably be fine.
Yeah, I feel like it'll get cleared up the next season, but what happened was kind of unfair-ish.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's fair to
yeah,
say that it sucked for the two teams for sure.
yeah,
It's pretty shitty.
yeah.
No way really
Unfortunately,
around that.
life is life, and getting disqualified is life. So,
Yeah, man.
I mean, what do you want to talk about next, Rayson? I'm trying to get up there.
Oh, the only thing that I think we're pretty much covered most of our topics for today. The only thing that I kind of wanted to know is, do you ever pay attention to like, okay, well these are like we think these are the like top players in like this position, so like 80 carry. If you were to say what are the top 80 carries that you've had to play against, or are potentially in the league, who would you put those people as?
I honestly, going back to what I said earlier on the show, I don't pay attention to really anything other than the teams we play against or the teams
Well,
we
even
practice against.
even
Well,
using
like
yeah,
what teams,
using
like,
the
how
ones.
would you rate like
The,
since
the,
you're an 80
for the
carry,
teams I played
obviously
against.
since you're first, who would you rate as like the
Okay,
top
all right,
3 or
all
4
right.
80 carries behind you?
Yeah.
I think I did this in that text interview that Kuro did with me. I definitely would rate Kuro up there, but that's because I scrim against him all the time, and we just kind of know where laning tendencies. But I honestly do think he's a really good 80 carry when he has the time to put into league. He's one of the toughest people to lane against at least. And then Swords, IG Swords, Lord Merc, I think is his name for IG. He was surprisingly really, really good all season. I didn't get to lane against. I only got to lane against him twice. We never actually scrimmed that team, but watching him, he was carrying that team super hard along with Splash. Those two guys carried the living shit out of that team.
Yeah, I completely agree on that.
And then obviously, in terms of like solo queue rating, you're gonna see okay, there's this Akanda guy. He's like master tier, but I got to lane against him once, and I was Mordekaiser, so I can't really speak for how good he is.
I mean, those mechanics, though.
Yeah, dude. Q2 times flash
Okay.
him in the face, right?
All right. I have just kind of an offbeat question here. What do you think? My team here, Swifties Memers,
God.
haven't actually had a team name yet, but that's what I'm calling them here. Our jungler is I don't know if I guess information's can been passed around yet is actually Alcantos. So what do you think of role swapping between like I guess Alcantos was a great mid lane player, but how do you think it'll translate into other things? And when people do that, like I've also heard other rumors of say top laners going to 80 carry or such like that. What do you think that'll just like what effect do you have?
No,
What
I'm trying to think of times where we've actually swapped within. I know one time we had Hobbs jungle for us last. This is way back last season, so you guys would have no idea. He jungled for us when my brother Chickstig LP at the time, like I said, he was a mid laner always, and we needed a jungle sub that week, and he had only been a mid laner at the time, so he actually came in and played mid for us, and he switched to jungle, and that went awfully. That was our only loss the entire first season of House Fighter we were in. So that's the only experience we really have with role swapping. I did try and actually role swap with Chickstig LP this season. We were trying it in scrims. We were having a really, really big slump, and I tried switching to jungle myself, and he tried switching to AD, and that didn't last very long either. So in my experience, role swapping hasn't worked out too well. But I know somebody like Alcantos, I rate him super highly. I have a lot of respect for that guy. He was an awesome mid laner, and some people are just really, really good at this game. And I'm not one of those people. Like I have to play. Yeah, of course. I have to play the living crap out of my role to like really understand the ins and outs of it and be that good at it. And if I were to play mid, I would be some like random plat player. So for me personally, it doesn't work out, but there's definitely certain types of players that can role swap just fine. And Alcantos jungle, who knows, that might work out for him.
Yeah, I mean, jungle really relies on the game knowledge more or less than mechanics. As
Sure.
Nunu is a champion, but stuff like that. What do you think going into next season? What do you think well, first of all, are you guys gonna stick around here? And if so, what do you think's gonna what changes do you think you would want to see?
For the league in general, or like what?
Uh,
What's
for the league. No, not for your team. You guys are fine the way you are.
Yeah,
Just
you
like for
guys.
the
We
league in
don't care
general.
about you
Yeah.
guys anymore. We want to know about
no,
the league.
yeah. No, for me personally, I guess I can just say it now since a lot of people know it. I'm actually going to be stepping down from my team after this season. I'm piecing the hell out. I'm getting out of Dodge. Basically, just because house party takes way too much time for me, and school's becoming too real. So yeah, I'll be piecing out after this season. And I can't speak for the rest of my team. They'll make their own decisions, based on tier man, based on what they want to do. So we'll obviously try and fill my roster with whoever ends up leaving. Just as I say, our team's been together forever, right? I'm saying we're just
Right,
Yeah.
but
right.
we're not actually. I don't know what's going to happen with my guys. But yeah, in terms of they've taken a lot of steps already. One of the big things that didn't happen this season that they've already done next season, I've seen proof of this, is they already have a playoff bracket set with like dates and everything. So as soon as you start the season, you know every single date you're going to be playing. The whole season. That was a big thing for me because as a captain, it was a nightmare. Like looking way ahead, saying, okay, playoffs start this date, and it's around like a break time, so like you can't really ask your players to not like, hey, don't go on vacation these days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was cool that they did that, and I don't know, a lot of the things with the way the rulings are going and the random ban wave, I guess I don't know what else to call it, of DQs and bans. I guess the only thing I could hope for is that they get some wording cleared up for stuff like that, so it doesn't seem so random, because that seems to be the biggest issue, at least with the community, from what I can tell, is that they're getting really frustrated with just the randomness of all the stuff that's kind of happening, I guess is one kind of how to say it. So
Yeah.
if they can clear that up, I think what they're doing is awesome. Like, you're not going to find something like this anywhere else. Like, T-Lo failed miserably. Like, I honestly challenge you to find something that is going as well as House Party 5v5 is. It's like as good as it's going to get for a competitive setting for players like us who are kind of, not really that great at the game, but good enough to
Yeah. Play
play it.
competitively.
It
Somewhat
look
like this.
look half decent, on stream.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so I mean, this has been pretty nice, but I just kind of have one more kind of topic question here. Do you like follow professional league at all?
Yeah, quite a bit.
All right. So, I mean, what do you think about this season? There's so many. Oh my God!
Oh, I
epic
think
roster
I think that
changes.
I think part of that we're gonna have to wait till next time. Like there is so much stuff to talk about with that.
All right. Well,
And,
we'll
and we
stick with.
and we still have to do Twitch questions too.
All right. Yeah, we'll skip that one for now. I know, Christina, you're all hyped and stuff, but maybe someone will ask a question about that. So, all right, we'll take some non-trolling questions here. Emphasis on that. Non-trolling questions. Just go. Ask something. Anyone. Swifty, Raislin, Christina. You can ask anyone.
Yeah, you guys can ask all of us.
All right, we got ranked supports. Simkev says that.
Simkev 2 is last.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
gonna say that.
give us top 3 supports.
All right. We actually have a long question here from the saved one. One thing I want to ask: what should a player start off when you want to learn AD? What champs should you main, and what should you keep in mind? I'm assuming that's kind of for me and you, but more so you, since you're actually
You
good.
guys could copy paste these, because that's something that's going to take me a really long time to answer.
All right. Here, I'll put it in the Skype chat.
All right, cool. Because that way you guys can kind of keep track of other questions. But I'll answer that as briefly as possible. Learning AD is really tough because I guess it's preseason, so it's really hard to say like what's going to happen, because they're going to obviously nerf the crap out of stuff. But the typical ADs you kind of want to start with would be like, your Caitlyn's, your Lucians, stuff that is like straight up, really straightforward, easy to lane with, and easy to lane with stuff, easy mechanically. Is how you should start out learning AD. I still think I'm a terrible laner, personally, at AD. I think the most important thing, I'll just wrap it up super fast. The most important thing with AD, shortly, is positioning. So you just have to learn how to position yourself and not die instantly. And yeah.
All right, yeah. The next one, preseason Premier League power rankings. Like after, I mean, that's kind of.
That's impossible. There's going to be so many roster changes that I don't.
Yeah, it's like
not possible.
The roster changes we're gonna talk about those in depth.
I will.
Yeah.
Like
we'll
later.
go over those when they happen, like next week or the week after. Every time we get new information. Simkev's still complaining about supports. All right, I actually have one right here that's kind of simple. Will Soul 7 defeat the Beetle Bandits?
Yeah. I think so. I think that is safe to say.
Oh,
Wilson sold them.
here's another good one. How low in elo do I have to go to get sub 8 Thunderlord decrees in my game? That's a good one. I played, I think the last 3 games I played, every single player has had Thunderlords. That shit's ridiculous. Actually, it's not really ridiculous. Just all the other masteries are completely awful. But yeah, I don't know, Wyndon. Probably below level 30 before people actually have enough mastery points to get in Thunderlords. I don't know. Rar has a question for you, Raislin. You better answer that one.
Oh, where is it?
What's under your chair?
My chair. Oh, so okay, so this is actually a really, really crappy computer chair. That nice chair over there is my girlfriend's. It is not mine. I'm not allowed to use it really. Occasionally I can, but not really. And the person who said earlier, my mom's room, no, I actually rent out a house, so I'm an adult. So suck it.
Oh,
That's
all right.
what I'm saying.
So
to you.
any other? The Hall of Fame ceremony. This guy's talking about that. That's tomorrow or no? It's Sunday.
It's after
Sunday
the
after.
final.
Yeah,
Sunday
well,
after the final.
let's talk about that after it happens, and we'll see what.
Yeah. But
Whether or not
I'm
it's
pretty
troll.
happy with that. I always I'm pretty sure. Apricot looked like he was doing a pretty good job with it.
Oh, yeah.
But
We
yeah,
talked a little bit about it today. It sounds.
he's always good at anything for the community, like just stuff like that. Like I mean there wasn't stuff for the minor league, so I stepped up and made the predictions and stuff. I like doing that, so it's fun. I'm sure Apricot's been having a good time too, because it's always fun getting votes for stuff.
They wanted rankings for mid supports, tops, and junglers. Top 3, give them real fast.
Is this for only for Premier League?
Whatever you want.
Yeah,
You can do
just
Premier.
like-
Easiest.
Premier or
That's
mine.
like the only thing. I gotta pull up like the list of
That's
Premier
fine.
League players really fast.
Oh, cool. Go ahead.
And
Yeah.
I'll do every position but my own for
That's,
obvious reasons.
we already did it. It's
Let's see. Top. I'd put Deadbeat probably first. Captain Stevie. I'd put him second. That's because I know how good he can be. I'll leave my team out of everything. How about that? That'll be fair.
Oh.
So obviously, I just say first for all of them, make them all feel
Uh-huh.
happy and warm and fuzzy.
Oh, okay. Well, come on. You don't have to do that. Don't. This
Well,
is
no,
this
I
is
feel
real
like-
talk.
If it's real talk, I'll do a real talk too. If
Okay.
I want to,
Yeah.
but then I'm going to be obviously biased.
Okay.
So. And then I'd probably I would honestly put Senpai third in terms of top laners.
Okay.
So right below Stevie, who he's playing this weekend. Jungler, I don't even want to rate jungle. Jungle is a really bad position.
Plus, there's a lot of like.
It's
I
so
feel
hard.
like jungle is the biggest role swap. And there's so many new junglers.
There's so many people, it's ridiculous. I'd say like from this list, the only people that I actually remember that actually jungled all season were Zark, Chixdig LP, and Jetrix. I think are the only people who stayed the whole season. So
Okay.
they're top 3. For mid, I'd say Hobbs was definitely number 1 when he was here. But now I think my boy Corrupt is number 1 right now. Then I probably would have said Alcantos was number 2. Then I'd probably put Afro third.
Okay.
Looking at this, Splash was really good too.
Afro.
I didn't watch enough of Splash's game to be able to see.
I mean, I would see Splash is. It's kind of weird. Like Afro, he makes plays, but then he also goes like 0-7 and.
Splash was probably
But
better for his team than Afro.
Splash just has just great KDAs, and I've never like played with him in comms, so I don't know. But I just know he's. I put Splash above Afro, but yeah.
That's fair. No, that's totally fair. Either of those.
Any carries.
80
Other than
carries.
Swifty. Swifty's off the list, obviously, since.
Yeah, we already did 80 carries. He already talked about his role.
I already talked about that earlier.
Yeah, supports.
Yeah, you can leave Simkev off the list also. Don't need to.
No, he's number 1. It's not even fucking close.
I know.
And supports. Number 2 would probably be Relara. He was really good. I'd want to put Better Call Saul a third, but like I just don't know enough about Luckard. So when I played against him, he was pretty good. So it's kind of hard to say. But probably Wilson, I guess, would be third.
Okay.
Wilson Jones from 2DRK. It's hard to say with a lot of these because I only scrim a select few of them, and we only got to play once or twice during the season, and they switched people, so it's pretty hard to say. But
All
yeah,
right. Well,
that's probably how I do it.
yeah. I mean, we kind of pretty much ran out of stuff to talk about. We talked for about a solid hour here.
Oh, we got more than an hour. We got.
Yeah. I mean, I episode 1 is in the wraps here. Everyone, Twitch chat, give a nice round of applause here for Christina for
Yeah, thank you so
coming
much,
on the
man.
show here.
Cheers.
Raislin, he kind of put this all together here. I mean, he
God
was the
bless
one that.
Grace.
figured out everything here. I'm just the guy that talks and asks questions and looks pretty. So,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's about it. Stay tuned. Next week we're gonna have. Why is Marzion so bad? That's another good question. But we'll save that one for next week. We might have two guests next week, but we are gonna have different ones. Sorry, Christina, you're not joining us every week. I know you're pretty sad about that.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do with your life? But anyway, so
Man.
that's about it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This will be going up on our YouTube channel. Raislin, have you what's the name of that? Is it the same thing?
I am working on that, and
All right.
I will get that worked out because I had
All
some
right.
issues with that today too. So.
Okay, that does make sense. So, yeah, that's about it. We'll post it on the subreddit and stuff like that when it's up, so anyone that misses can watch it. I don't know why I'm saying that, since anyone that missed it obviously wouldn't be hearing this. But that's about it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week with maybe one or two guests. And thanks for watching, and go play some in-houses. I think there's something going on right now, or play some League. Anyway, thanks, Christina. Thanks, Raislin, and good night, everyone.
Cheers,
Night,
guys.
guys.